Hi everyone. Today we discuss about the Hawthorne experiment. Hawthorne experiment. In this we discuss about the what are all the types of Hawthorne experiments. Okay. First we are going to discuss about the Hawthorne experiment. Human resource is an important managerial function. The behavior of employees in an organization is governed by various desires, attitudes and feelings of the employees. George Elton Mayo was one of the few theorists who considered the human relations issues and their impact on work performance. George Mayo and his other colleagues conducted experiments called as Hawthorne experiments. Hawthorne experiments are acknowledged all over the world as these experiments have changed the view or point of manager towards workers of the organization. Hawthorne experiments have a positive turning point in the history of the human relations movement. These experiments have a different perspective to the concept of human behavior and its function in an organization. Hawthorne studies covered the human relations movement, although Great Depression and the labor movement were initiates of human relations practices. The Hawthorne studies have academic position to the study of organizational behavior. The studies were undertaken at the West Electric Company. Hawthorne works in Syrio, Super Chicago and are linked with the name of Elton Mayo. Mayo was the professor of industrial research at the Harvard School of Business Administration. Mayo was mainly responsible for executing these studies or spreading the importance of these studies. Thus, he is known as the father of human relations movement. These experiments were quite similar to the scientific management school of thought that give emphasis to scientific research for improving and efficiency of process with the help of better methods and equipment. The lighting of the working area, the National Research Council conducted experiments to study the relationship between the lighting and productivity. The General Electric wanted to increase the sale of tube lights. It supported the studies conducted at the National Research Council along with other companies to the electric industry. Types of Hawthorne experiment. First one is illumination experiment. It was named as illumination experiment because light was selected by the researcher for conducting the study and to examine the link between physical factor and productivity. The methods adopted for this experiment were, first of all, two separate group of employees were chosen. Second one is one group was asked to work under steady light and other group was asked to work under inconsistent light. Third one is the aim of this experiment was to analyze the impact of lighting on productivity. The researchers were amazed to the results as the candle power variations of lights did not influence the productivity as the productivity of both the groups increased. So they recognized that not illumination but some other factor affected by the productivity. Second types of Hawthorne experiment, relay room experiment. In this, the aim of this experiment was to discover the physical elements that affect the productivity of workers. The methods adopted were, first of all, 6 female employees who were responsible for assembling telephones were chosen. Then researchers modified several factors in physical environment to determine the impact of these factors on their productivity. First one is the physical factors that were modified included hours of work increased or decreased, rest intervals, enhanced physical conditions, temperature, particular type of group incentives. These employees were working in isolation away from the plant. Employees were not supervised, but they were under researchers' observations. The researchers found that there is no effective relationship between any of these factors and productivity. Even after so many manipulations, as the productivity increased and continuously. Third type of Hawthorne experiment, bank wiring observation room experiment. Basic objectives of researchers was to identify the actual determinant affecting productivity. These methods adopted by the researcher were 14 employees were selected by the researcher. Production records of these employees were compared with their earlier production records. The outcome of this experiment, each individual was limiting output. Group had declared its own informal performance standards. Output of each individual remained somewhat stable for a particular period. Records of each department were distorted due to variation between actual and reported output. This variations was also between standard and reported working time. Fourth type of Hawthorne experiment is interview program. The aim of interview program was one identified affecting productivity. Hence, 20,000 interviews were carried out by the researchers. The questionnaire was given to employees and they were responded without any hesitations. Thus, the result of these interviews explained the relevance of the social factors on working environment. Thank you.